Hello friends, this is Thag with Thag's Dino-Reviews and Paleopolitics. I'm sorry for interrupting Jane's little stop-motion video. Jane is the juvenile T-Rex of the recent releases from Beasts of the Mesozoic, and it is a wonderful model. As soon as we're done here, I'll get the rest of the stop-motion video going. The reason I'm doing this is we have a very serious emergency that is taking place as we speak. Now, today, I want to get the date out. Today is April 14th on a Friday, and next Tuesday is April 18th, and that is D-Day for dinosaur skeletons at auction, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because another, if you can believe it, another Tyrannosaurus Rex adult mounted skeleton goes up for auction with the Kohler Company of Zurich, Switzerland. Now, in researching, I wanted to get some more information on this, and I ran across a very interesting article, and I highly recommend that everybody, whether you're just a lay fan of dinosaurs like myself, or a scientist, or a museum director, or just the general public, I highly recommend that you read this letter. And it's from a company called undervaluedshares.com. That's their web address. And read the article. It's by Sven Lorenz, and he is an investment counselor, and what they are proposing could very well change the face of how dinosaur skeletons are sold at auction in the future. And by the way, if you think it's bad now, wait till these guys get a hold of it. Anyway, basically the crux of the article is, and he uses some really crass language towards museums and paleontologists and scientists. I really can't believe how the guy is acting. And I'm not sure he has that much knowledge on science. Maybe, but I don't think so. Anyway, basically, he's looking at dinosaurs as an emerging investment opportunity, and he thinks it's going to be big. Now, he starts out by saying that the museums and scientists have been inept, his words, not mine, inept at how they handle their funds, and because of that and the way they handle their business, that's what's caused a shortage of fossils. Not the fact that they're rare. He says there's millions of them out there in the ground and ready to be picked up. But it's the ineptitude of museums and scientists that have caused the shortage. And he says that's a kind of a discipline that needs disruption. Okay, whatever. The next thing is he talks about how a company called Aperion, A-P-E-R-I-O-N, this is all in the article, so I'm just repeating the highlights, set up a $30 million fund called the Aperion Jurassic Fund 1, which would be to invest in dinosaurs. Now you have to remember, what they are doing here is they're setting up this fund so dinosaurs can be bought and sold for profit. In addition to that, they want to make each skeleton an entity and put a copyright on it. And according to his article, if you read between the lines, he wants to market products, fossil copies. We know that's being done. He wants to sell other merchandise. He wants to display these iconic dinosaur skeletons in private and public places, special locations. And he also wants to, lease them out to movies and all that. all that is just merchandising to me. It's just a way of bringing in additional money before this skeleton is actually sold at a profit. And from the way he's talking, he's telling these companies that are thinking about investing in it that the profit potential is huge. Now, I don't know if that's completely true or not, but copyrighting a skeleton as an entity is going to create a lot of trouble, and I really, really think this needs to be nipped in the bud somehow, or at least everybody that it's possible that can be should be aware of it. Now, having said that, he does have some track record that he can go to, and that's simply, for instance, the Black Hills Institute. They sell copies of Stan. And a matter of fact, it was them that put the kibosh on Shen. Now, this Kohler company is also in this somehow, and I'm not sure I get it, because basically, since 1997, you've sold quite a few T-Rexes, even though he'll say no, but we have. But in the last 4 years, really, what you have sold is Stan. You tried to sell Shen, but Shen was pulled because of supposed copyright infringements. And but even at that, the estimated value of Shen was going to be somewhere in the $25 million bracket. Stan sold for $31 million. And the third one was Maximus, which was only a skull, no axial skeleton whatsoever. And it's really amazing. In the article, he says that they're lamenting the fact that it only went for $6.1 million. Now remember, this is only a skull with 39 bones. And they did want $15 million. Okay? Now, keep those three prices in mind, because the Kohler company has come out, and it's in the article, and it's in a number of other articles, that says they are going to expect it to sell for somewhere between $5.4 and $8.4 million. Okay, now I asked myself, why would they put out such a low estimate when they have a track record? They've got a skull that sold for almost that. Okay, they've got a big T-Rex in Hong Kong that was pulled, and I guarantee you behind the scenes it's probably sold already anyway. And then they definitely have Stan out there with a whopping $31 million. So I'm not sure I understand their thinking on it, other than to say two things. One, if they keep the price low and it sells very high, and basically what you're looking at is the difference between the reserve price and the final selling price. The larger that number gets, the more potential there is for investors to come in and invest in dinosaur skeletons, and also ultimately more people to come in and bid on dinosaur skeletons. And I think that was done deliberately. I can't prove it. I don't know how I could prove it, but the mere fact that the estimate is so low tells me they want to get a lot of money in on this, and a lot of people in on it, bidding and investing. And I think they will do that. At this point, philanthropy is out the window. Now, they may tell you, oh, you know, and to be fair, it's possible that a rare individual might come up, buy a large skeleton and like a T-Rex, and donate it to a museum. It's not out of the realm of possibility. There are philanthropists out there. There's no question of it. But there's also a lot of snakes, and you got to watch it when you do the handshake, because the fact of the matter is, with this coming out in the open saying it's a flat out emerging asset class for investments with huge potential. There's going to be, well, what used to be a measured pace towards buying dinosaur skeletons is now going to turn into a headlong gallop because people are going to come in from everywhere. It's already being called the next gold rush out west, with people all over the place looking for dinosaur skeletons. So we need to really, particularly the scientific community. This guy is insulting them. He's saying how lame they are. He's saying what potential there is for skeletons to be sold, and he might be right in the short run, but in the long run, we all lose. And again, as I've said all along, that is our heritage. It belongs to all of us. If there was a chance UNESCO might come in and pay some of the landowners and give them some money, I would say great, because they have an asset on their land that deserves something, but that asset belongs to all of us. And the theft and the pilfering of public lands, that's only going to increase. And I have some friends that are out, as I said in the last post, that are out in the western states, some of the fossil-bearing states, and they tell me that there's going to be an all-out stampede this year with all kinds of people looking for everything. And you can't tell me that won't spill over into public lands, and it will. Also, even though if you saw my last video where I made a parody out of auctions with Sam Swindell, they come out in this article and they mince no words about it. We are, ready to also get involved in selling individual bones and individual pieces, and that will happen. So I don't know. We're in for a really rough ride. We need to really start getting awareness campaigns going. We need to, science in particular, needs to really make a much more public appearance approach to this whole thing, because they can't stay in the museum basements and think that this thing will somehow go away. It will not go away. And as I have said before, just wait until there is a significant discovery made and it goes into private hands and is lost forever and completely bypasses science. Everybody will be crying on that. So the time to act is now. The time to be responsive and positive is now. And anyway, if at the end of this video, if you got any ideas, and you like, subscribe and comment. I need to know if you've got any ideas on what we can do. I think it's going to have to be something like the fur trade in the 1970s, where we sickened the public in general on buying fur, and we need to do the same thing today on dinosaur skeletons. Whether we're up to it, whether we are totally up to it or not, I do not know. But I do know that we can get out there and raise some heck and try to make people feel bad about it, and try to get science on board, and maybe the government. Although I have to tell you, I've sent out a number of letters to politicians, and I've sent out a number of letters to paleontologists, and I've sent out an inordinate amount of letters to different news reporters. And believe me, if they don't want to hear from you, you will never hear back from them. They're very well hidden. They vet everything, and it's really tough. But be thinking on it. This is a crisis. This is a real crisis. And it's next Tuesday, the 18th of April. That's the day I figure that they're through these shenanigans, they're going to put out a very low price. They're going to sell it very high, and there's going to be a stampede of people coming in to buy and to invest in dinosaur skeletons. So we need to act now. Okay, on that happy note, anyway, thank you. Thanks for tuning in. And now let's get back to Jane the Juvenile T-Rex, 66 million years ago, or 70 million years ago, I'm sorry, in the Hill Creek Formation of Montana. Thank you, and have a doggone good day.